What's up, everyone? One of the biggest question marks that the Warriors have going into the offseason is what they're going to do with their number 2 overall draft pick. The player that the Warriors have been linked to the most is James Wiseman. This makes sense as he's generally considered to be one of the top 3 players in this draft, along with Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. Ball and Edwards are both poor fits on the Warriors roster as they both play the same position as the Warriors' top backcourt. Wiseman appears to be the better fit of the 3. So in this video, we're going to analyze Wiseman, look at his strengths and weaknesses, and determine how he fits on the current Warriors roster. But before we continue, if you like content like this, please like the video as it really encourages the YouTube algorithm to recommend it to others. And please subscribe as it really helps my channel grow. Now let's continue. First, let's start off by looking at Wiseman's strengths. One of the biggest strengths of Wiseman is that he's a physical specimen. He's 7'1" with a 7'6" wingspan, and he's got a 9'6" standing reach, meaning he's damn near at the rim just from fully extending upwards. A lot of setters who are that huge tend to be slow and plodding, but Wiseman is very athletic for a player his size. He runs the floor really well and has a high vertical. Wiseman's jumping ability, combined with his elite size, makes him an amazing lob target and an excellent finisher out the pick and roll. Despite being that tall, he's pretty filled out for his size. He's a solid 240 pounds and pretty strong in both his upper and lower body. It's Wiseman's incredible strength and athleticism that really makes him such a top prospect and gives him a high ceiling. These physical tools should immediately help Wiseman to be able to make an impact on both ends. With those long arms, Weisman should immediately be a good shot blocker in the NBA, and with his athleticism, he should be able to be a great finisher around the basket. The next strength I want to talk about with Wiseman is his perimeter skills. For starters, Wiseman certainly has shooting potential in the NBA. His mid-range shot is solid, and his shooting touch and form look good. Because of his good mechanics, some believe that Wiseman can extend his range to the three-point line. I'm not necessarily buying his three-point shot yet. He only shot 1 three-pointer in his 3 games at Memphis and missed that 1 attempt. There isn't much evidence of Wiseman hitting threes at a high percentage against top competition. Could he develop a three-pointer in the NBA? I'm sure he can, but it's something that's probably going to take years to develop. But I do think he could be an effective mid-range shooter day 1 in the NBA, which would be great for his offensive game. Wiseman also has a pretty nice handle for a player his size. He isn't Giannis, but he does have the ability to put the ball on the floor and make a play. It's not uncommon to see him grab a rebound and bring the ball up the court on the fast break, and he can occasionally use crossovers and other dribble moves to beat defenders in the half court. It's because of this shooting and ball handling ability that many have compared James Wiseman to Chris Bosh. Many people that are high on Wiseman are hoping that these perimeter skills could lead to him developing an excellent face-up game like Chris Bosh in his prime. The last strip I want to talk about with Wiseman is defensive potential. Wiseman physically has the makings to be an elite NBA defensive anchor. Thanks to his height and long 7'6" wingspan, Wiseman can protect the rim extremely well. When he rotates over to challenge driving players, he's difficult to score over, and it's not uncommon for Wiseman to send a layup into the stands. Wiseman is also a pretty good rebounder. Thanks to his size and high motor, he does a pretty good job crashing both the offensive and defensive glass. There is no reason why he shouldn't be a double-double machine in the NBA with starter minutes. As we can clearly see, there's a lot to like about Wiseman, and the all-star upside is clearly there. But while he has many strengths, he also has his weaknesses. The first major weakness of James Wiseman is the fact that he only played 3 games in college. It isn't Wiseman's fault that the NCAA totally screwed him over, but regardless of that, this is a very small sample size to draw analysis from. Because of the lack of tape against top competition, it's difficult to tell how much of Wiseman's game will really translate in the NBA. Furthermore, the fact that Wiseman hasn't played a competitive game in over a year could have been a detriment to his development. The lack of college experience could create a steep learning curve when he gets drafted into the league. I think this is the main reason Wiseman is such a polarizing player. A lot of people are high on Wiseman and a lot are low on him. There isn't much college film of him, so he's a difficult player to analyze, which has led to a wide range of opinions. The next major weakness with Wiseman is poor shot selection. We didn't see too much of this in his 3 games in college, but he definitely had a questionable shot selection in high school. As stated before, he does have a good handle and jump shot for a big man, but he often jacks up too many perimeter shots like he's Kevin Durant. For example, here Wiseman can't beat his man off the dribble, then settles for a jumper that misses badly. Here Wiseman tries to beat his man, can't get the blow by and forces up a bad miss. And here, Wiseman attempts a step back jumper, which also misses really badly. You get the idea. Wiseman clearly aspires to be an elite 7-foot shot creator like KD or Giannis, but his game isn't at that level to be taking the type of shots he likes to take. Wiseman doesn't have a good understanding of his limitations on the court. At this point, Wiseman's confidence in his perimeter and shot creation skills is way above his actual skill level, so he's going to need to improve his shot selection to earn minutes in the league. For now, Wiseman should primarily be a lob threat and pick and roll finisher in the league, and he probably can take the occasional jumper, but I highly doubt the Warriors or any team will be giving Wiseman too many isolation plays. The next major weakness of Wiseman is that he's a pretty poor passer. When Wiseman is looking to score, he tends to be hell-bent to get a bucket and will miss open shooters and cutters. I'm not calling him selfish, but at this stage of his career, his awareness of his teammates on the court is pretty poor. Here, Wiseman shows tunnel vision by missing 2 open guys. Now, this isn't the worst shot in the world as he did have a smaller defender on him, but Wiseman had 2 guys wide open for 3 that he just totally missed. I know that was just one example, so to further demonstrate, I'm going to read what The Stepien, a huge NBA draft site, had to say about Wiseman's passing. There is ample evidence that he is severely lacking as a passer and decision-making / feel going back to his pre-college tape. His role in the NBA should be one that minimizes the thinking on the fly aspect, unless he is able to develop it in time, which means the game would have to slow down for him quite a bit. Keep him as a rim runner / screener. So as we can see, Wiseman's passing ability is pretty abysmal. Due to Wiseman's poor shot selection and passing ability, Wiseman should play more like a traditional big his first year in the league. Trying to play Wiseman like he's Anthony Davis will lead to him racking up turnovers and bad shots. Wiseman should be taking mostly open shots his first year and slowly expand his offensive role years down the line. The last major weakness I'm going to talk about with Wiseman is poor defensive tendencies. This may be a shocker because I talked about his potential as a defensive anchor, but too often, Wiseman has poor defensive instincts. Yes, Wiseman does average a high number of blocks, but too often, Wiseman block chases. This means trying to block every shot instead of just altering the shot by going straight up. This can be a problem because if your center always goes for the block, when they miss, they end up out of position, making it easy for the opposition to score. It's the reason Cat has been a pretty poor defender throughout his career despite a high block average. Wiseman has shown this same problem of block chasing. So yes, he does get a lot of blocks, but he tends to jump for every layup attempt instead of just using the rule of verticality and his elite size to force misses. This makes him very susceptible to pump fakes. In order to be a legit defensive anchor, he has to be more disciplined. Along with block chasing, Wiseman doesn't project to be a good switch defender. Wiseman is athletic for his size, but he isn't quick enough on his feet to guard perimeter players. For that reason, I think it's best for the Warriors to use him in drop coverage when defending pick and rolls in the NBA. If he drops back to defend the paint, he could be pretty effective, but if he's asked to switch out onto guards on the pick and roll, he's going to struggle. Overall, I do think that Wiseman's defensive weaknesses are all fixable with NBA coaching. He isn't going to be a great defender day one, but he could reach that level years down the line. So now that we've covered his strengths and weaknesses, let's talk about his potential fit on the Warriors roster. I do think that if Wiseman was to embrace the role that JaVale McGee played on the Warriors a few years ago, he could be very effective. On the Warriors, McGee was incredibly useful as a rim protector and rebounder on defense, and a lob target and pick and roll finisher on offense. In his rookie year, I think this will essentially be Wiseman's role on the team. As stated before, I don't think Weisman has the skill level and basketball IQ to be some elite shot-creating big man, at least just yet. In his first year, he needs to let the offense come to him, make open lobs and dunks, and take open jumpers, and as the years go by, he can take a larger offensive role on this Warriors team. Now, there will be some growing pain for Weisman, as he is a talented but very flawed player. Weisman needs to learn to stay disciplined defensively and not go for every block. He could struggle with foul trouble like a lot of young bigs, but after Weisman fixes those areas of his game, he has the potential to be extremely good. I don't think Weisman will play big minutes his rookie year. Marquise Chris was a huge bright spot for the Warriors this year at the center position. Kevon Looney was the starting center last year, and Draymond Green will play some minutes at the 5 as well. The truth is, Weisman isn't even a lock to start with the other options the Warriors have on the roster at center. As a result of the other talent at the center position, I think Weisman will likely play about 20 minutes a game his rookie year, and the Warriors will bring him along slowly and develop him. Overall, I do think that Weisman can be a good fit on the Warriors. I don't think he's going to dominate day one, but the Warriors could develop him into an all-star. Weisman may be a flawed player, but if the Warriors were able to turn around the careers of JaVale McGee and Marquise Chris, there's no doubt in my mind that they can mold Weisman into a star. And with that said, that's going to be the end of the video. What do you guys think of James Wiseman? Is he a potential all-star? Should the Warriors take him with the number 2 pick? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day.